All right, friends and fans. This is Greg with Greg's Mobile Automotive AC Repair. And shooting a video this morning, actually this afternoon rather. And I'm using a different camera. So going forward, the videos that I shoot are going to be from this perspective. It's just easier for me to be able to do the work that I'm trying to do and still provide some sort of a video. So here in just a moment, I'll step in front of a mirror and kind of show you what I got going on here. And we'll see how we go from here. I think this is going to work out pretty good. So let me turn the light on in here. Sorry for the noise. Turn off my headlamp. This is what you got. So this is what I got going on right here. I've got this camera here. It's called an Ordro EP7, I believe it is. It's a pretty cool little deal. Head mount, records. I can do high definition. I think I'm going to stick to probably 1080p, 30 frames per second. Seems to be pretty good as far as resolution and everything that I'm doing. What I like about it is it gives me both my hands. So I can have the camera on, I can be working, and you guys can kind of see what I see. I have noticed already there is going to be a couple of instances where I'm going to be underneath a hood or I'm going to be in an awkward position and you're going to see what I see, which sometimes is nothing because I have to reach in maybe underneath the dash or something to try and get a fastener or something. And you guys are just going to have to bear with that. I don't intend to edit a whole lot of this video. I don't think I'll have to, but we'll see. I mean, I'll edit if need be, if sound gets out of control, something, gets loud and crazy or whatever. But for the most part, what you see is what I see. So we're going to shoot these videos from this POV, point of view, from now on. And I think it'll be better. That way I can still try and get something out that I think might be useful to somebody, and I can still do the work that I need to do. So speaking of the work that I need to do, those of you who've been following me or are fans of the channel or know me, you know what this is. This is the 68 Ford that I've had in the shop for a while now. And it's been sitting here for a while, but there hasn't been a lot of work done to it. So even though it's been sitting here, I think I've got probably 2 weeks of solid work into this vehicle. And I'm in the process right now of redoing the wiring. And I'll give you a shot of kind of what I've got going on inside in the dash area here. So this is what I got going on inside of here. I'm getting ready to mount the fuse block. It's going to go up underneath here. You can see it's hanging right there. It's going to get mounted right there. I've got one cable that I've got to pull it back out and then reroute it. And then most of the cabling is going to end up back in behind here. This is where the instrument cluster sits in here. Speedometer comes and feeds through there. I've got a headlight switch, brand new. And I've got an ignition switch that I've got to reuse the connectors. And I'll show you what that looks like here in just a second. So one of the reasons why I wanted to shoot this video, I've had a couple of people that have made comments to me saying that they thought that the painless systems came with the connectors. And if you watch the unboxing video that I did, I had mentioned then that there are a few connectors that they include, and they kind of look like this right here for headlight connections, just so that you can replace those. Everything else, you're either going to make new connections, or in the case of what I did here, because these are unique connectors, you're going to reuse connectors. So like this is the headlight switch connector. Here's my brand new headlight switch. And as you can see, it's a unique connector. So it's keyed to fit in one way. And so I had to reuse this connector. And it wasn't that bad. All I had to do was depin it, pull out the old wiring harness pins. And then I'm going to make new ones. And they lock in. Do just like they're supposed to there. Same thing with the ignition switch one here. Had to do that. I need to clean this one up a little bit. But this is the housing. Then there are other things like this right here. This is the steering column. And these are the turn signals and the horn. And what I'm going to have to do, because I don't have a connector body, this was just cut off flush when I first started working on it, is I have these connectors here. I have this connector body. I'm going to put these in, and then I'll make the female connection on the other side using these barrel connectors right here and join all that together. So that's kind of what's going on, and I'm working on that today. I've had to, one of the things that I'd like people to know about if they're working with these painless harnesses, there are a lot of wires. Like this one was the Ford, it's the 10123 is a part number, customizable Ford color-coded harness 21 circuit. Now, this is a Ford specific harness, but what has to be realized is there are a lot of things that are included on this harness that may or may not be original equipment on the vehicle you're working on. For instance, this 68 Ford didn't have some of the things that this has wires for. So one of the examples that comes to mind is like the courtesy light switches. When you open the door on some of your newer vehicles, the lights come on. This doesn't have that, but there's wires ran for that. And there's some other stuff. So one of the things that I highly suggest you do, get the original wiring diagram for the vehicle that you're working on, and then sit down, because you'll see, like I've done here, and you know, don't tear me up in the comments. I'm not an artist by no means. I'm a tech. But what I had to do is, this is the light switch. So this is the connector, and these were the wires that were connected to it. And if you see here, I know it's maybe hard to read my chicken scratch, but I've got two wire numbers written here, like for instance 959 on top, 54 on the bottom, green with a yellow stripe, and where it goes. And the reason why is because the top number in this one is the painless wiring number. The bottom one is the original manufacturer's wiring number. And some of them may not match. Some of the coloring may be a little bit different. Some of the destination of where it originates or where it terminates may not be the same. And so I suggest that if you're doing this, set aside some time and sit down and check your wiring diagram, check the painless wiring harness instructions, because they're very detailed. They have a lot of information as to where the circuits are going. Let me get to that page here. Starts about page 22, if I'm not mistaken. I've been thumbing through this quite a bit. Okay, so this will tell you, for instance, the ignition section. It says connect to, and it'll tell you this this black-green wire. It's a 12-gauge wire. The wire number from painless is 933, and it's going to connect to the ignition switch, right? Then the next one says ignition switch be positive. It'll tell you where it's coming from. So it's worth it to sit down and go through this, and then anything that's different or that's going to be a little bit of a change from the original harness to what you're doing, make notes of, just so that when you go to reuse a connector, you're making sure that you're plugging the right terminals into the right sockets on this connector, so that when you plug it in, you don't have something that's cross-wired or, you know, going to cause a short or something like that. You guys know what I'm talking about there. So anyways, that's some of the things that I've seen so far. Things that I didn't account for as far as is consuming my time was having to sit down and do this portion. I knew that none of the connections were made. That wasn't a big deal for me. I have the tools necessary for that. I have a crimper that I don't know if that's going to show up on the screen or not. I really hope it does. But I have a crimper that does the curl crimp really well. I was really impressed with that. So I have the stuff to make the connections. I wasn't considering, when I got the harness, I didn't consider the fact that there's going to be so much extra stuff that is not necessarily needed for this make and model. Couple of things in the engine compartment that I've noticed right off the bat. If you look at this section of harness right here, I've tied knots in these things because these are things that this truck does not have. One of them would be, for instance, electronic choke. I think that's this one here. Now, one of the things I do like about Painless a lot is all of their wires are individually labeled at the end. So this one, yeah, this one goes to the electric choke, which this truck does not have. It has a manual choke with a slide cable, push-pull cable attached to a handle in the cab. So there are going to be some wires in the harness that you're either going to have to clip off and terminate, or if it's something that you think you're going to add later on, I wouldn't cut them too short. Cut them and cap them and just tuck them out of the way. And that's what I'm going to do with some of these. This thing has a wire in it for an AC clutch, which right now this thing does not have AC. And at some point the customer may want to put AC in it. So I'm not going to cut that wire off completely. I'm just going to tuck it up out of the way. So that's kind of what's going on there. And I just wanted to touch base with you. I'm going to be shooting some more of these videos, and not necessarily just for like YouTube content or another video channel content so much as this is a really good way. I decided to turn this on because the last 3 days I've done some jobs that were, required both of my hands, and I couldn't, pull out my camera or my phone or none of that. And, but there were jobs that I thought, man, this would have been really good just to be able to have video of, so that when the job was done, the customer, oh, hey, did you change this? Yeah, here you go. Here's the video of it. And just to be able to post it for somebody who maybe they're not sure how to do what I was doing. I changed out an instrument cluster on a Ford Crown Victoria, changed out an ignition switch on a 2005 Jeep. What else did I do recently? Oh, I did a blend door modulator motor on a Chevy Silverado. Some of that stuff, there's tons of videos on. Some of that stuff, there's not hardly any video at all. But I really thought, man, it would be cool. You could have seen it from a point of view. I know the videos that I watch when I'm trying to figure out how to do something, or I like the videos that show me, how to do what to do. Not a lot of talking and no video of what you're actually doing. So that's the purpose of this. That's what the new camera's for. And with that, I'm going to kind of cut this one short. I've got to get some stuff prepped. I'm going to put this steering column in today because I need to verify that the linkage is gonna match up and work like it's supposed to. There was some modification done to the steering column, and so I've got to verify that. I'll probably turn the camera on when I get ready to do that. If not, then I'll turn the camera on when I'm doing some of the other stuff, because there's lots of stuff that I still got to do. But it's not as much as it looks. It's just now that I've got everything run, I've got to make my connections and stuff. So, all right. Those of you who know me, you know how to get a hold of me. And those of you that are subscribed, thank you very much. Sorry it's been so long since I posted. Like I said, hopefully this new camera will make it a little more convenient for me to post content, and hopefully it's good content for you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff if you want to, and if you don't, hey, whatever. All right, thanks a lot. Bye.